Hello, my friend. I wanted to talk to you about expectations and being attached to expectations. When we get upset by other people when they don't do what we're hoping they do, or what they might say they might do, or what we're expecting them to do. I know this causes a lot of trouble in people's lives, a lot of disharmony and upset and frustration and irritation and annoyance and feeling angry and sad. So this is why I want to bring this up. The more we expect, the stronger we expect somebody to be a certain way, the greater our disappointment and suffering and sadness will be when they're not that way. So it's important to be aware of our expectations. It's not so much our expectations that's the issue, it's how strongly we're emotionally attached and tied to our expectations. For example, a little example, I expect to go to the bank on Saturday, and I expect it to be open at a certain time, because this is just normal, natural expectations. But the more emotionally attached and tied I am to this, the more disappointed and annoyed and upset I'll be if the bank happens to be closed. So this is what the meaning is. So if we look at reality and understand that people act a certain way for a reason, then we don't have to have unrealistic expectations of people. If someone is immature, or childish, or emotionally unwell, or mentally unbalanced, if somebody's very, very stressed, or if they're just stressed, or if they're emotionally upset, then we need not expect too much or anything unrealistic from them. If we do, all we're doing is setting ourselves up to be disturbed ourselves emotionally. Really, it's all about understanding people and knowing that people do things for reasons. They're behaving a certain way due to their awareness level, their emotional, mental and physical well-being, or their lack of well-being. So I just hope that we don't usually people jump towards criticizing, condemning, blaming and belittling other people, and demanding other people to be different, demanding them to be the way that they want them to be. But all this does lead to conflict, fighting, arguments, tension, stress, unease, and a great deal of sadness, unfortunately. It'd be nice if this didn't have to be the case. And it doesn't really. So just become aware of your own thoughts and your own condition to automatic judgments, belittlements, and condemnation of the other person when they don't act the way that you want them to act. Look at the way you get annoyed and irritated and you want to give out to the person, and instead try and put yourself in their shoes and empathize. This is the biggest trick. And try and figure out, or ask them if you want, just try and wonder why they're acting or feeling a certain way. Maybe they've had a hard time recently and they're stressed or upset. So what else? Yeah, this is kind of it. Expectations. Nice birds outside. So anyway, I invite you to look at your life, your own emotions, and your own relationships with people, and to see how often you get annoyed or frustrated with people, or angry. And that's really not based on them at all, actually. It's based on your reaction to them and to the situation. Gandhi once said, "Nobody can hurt me without my permission." And really, it's not the outside thing that's happening that causes us to be emotionally disturbed in any way at all. It's our reaction, our inner reaction. This has been demonstrated and shown many times in history. It's shown all the time. And even in the most extreme examples, for example, the concentration camps, people have shone in the concentration camps. They've glowed. They've been happy and content and okay. They've had that inner peace and the aliveness. That's the most extreme example. In an ordinary day-to-day example, you can also see it. Someone could ignore you, and one person could become really, really annoyed and irritated and start shouting at the person who's ignoring them, accusing them of being ignorant and unfriendly and rude. And all this person is doing is thinking, is just reacting. They're thinking about themselves, how they have been the victim of someone who's rude, etc. But the other person might not feel at all angry or upset or irritated. Like me, that's the way I was today. Somebody ignored me on the bus, like, completely. It was the bus driver, 3 times in a row. So I just knew he was obviously wasn't feeling well emotionally or whatever, mentally, maybe even physically, but probably just he wasn't feeling well in the heart. One of my favourite people, Peace Pilgrim, she told me before, not in person, oh, that's the internet, but she said anyone who can do a mean thing is psychologically unwell, and that's pretty true. They're not aware and they're not very well. They're not very balanced, not very happy. And these people don't need more suffering and more hurt from us on top of their existing hurt. They need our understanding and hopefully our love, if we can extend compassion and love. And compassion and love will flow like a beautiful spring from understanding and being and awareness. Empathy, understanding, awareness. So it feels so good to stretch. And to breathe. So think about this. But don't forget also, if someone is being hurtful to us, that doesn't mean we have to stay in their surroundings. We don't have to take abuse. Please don't take abuse at all, ever. No, no way. Like, no physical abuse and no verbal abuse / energetical abuse. For if someone is calling us names and shouting at us, or else just calling us names and criticizing and condemning us and trying to belittle our character and insult us, this isn't good for us. It's not a loving act on their behalf. And while we might know that they're obviously very emotionally, psychologically unwell, this doesn't mean we have to just stay there and say nothing with a smile on our face. If someone was saying that to me, and you don't have to act the way I am, and I'm not trying to say that everyone or anyone should act the way I do or think the way I do, but I'm just sharing you my opinion so you can make up your own mind for yourself and see what resonates with your heart and your truth, your individual being. But if someone was shouting at me or whatever, I'd interrupt straight away. I'd either leave the situation, but second of all, I'd leave the situation. But first of all, I'd try and get them to stop. I'd probably be very assertive, and I may even interrupt them, like, very assertively, very assertively. This usually never happens to me, even though I did once recently, and someone was giving me verbal and energetic abuse. That's what verbal abuse is an energetic, like, assault, a verbal assault. A whole lot of criticisms and judgments about me and the situation. And I tried first of all to talk nicely and calmly like I usually do to people, but they were in such a disturbed mental and emotional mode. With awareness and with a good heart and a motive of leaving this unfriendly, hurtful situation and moving towards understanding of each other, I decided to try and communicate with them in the same way that they're communicating with me, in the hopes to almost like shake them from their emotional, mental, like hypnotic spell that they were in, and to try and wake them up to how they're behaving and how they're acting. So I copied the way they were with me to show them how they were behaving, and it worked amazingly. Like I interrupted them and started using the same words with the same force. This is ridiculous. No, you're ridiculous. Anyway, I did it pretty well. I did feel like the very strong emotional charge of doing this, but it wasn't done with meanness in my heart to hurt the person, not at all. And when they started talking, then I interrupted them the way they'd been interrupting me, so forcefully and aggressively. And I started kind of just talking back to them, and what happened was they realized, they started to smile. They just stopped. They just stopped. And they started to smile, and this is because they woke up to realizing, oh my God, is this the way I was, or something? And they smiled, and then what happened in the next 2, 3, 4 minutes was the whole so-called argument, because I wasn't arguing, the whole event, which was like really highly charged, everything, it was totally gone within like just a few minutes, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes or something. And that person said sorry like a lot of times to me, because they realized I taught them empathy. I opened the door to teach them empathy and to put themselves in my shoes as the recipient of abuse, verbal and emotional abuse. And I told them that's verbal and emotional abuse, and I don't want to put up with that ever again, like anymore. I don't want it. I don't accept it. I don't like it. It's not good for me. It doesn't feel good, and it's not good for them. So I was helping to teach them too awareness and understanding of how their behavior is for themselves and for other people, and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable with me, and what boundaries are there for us. And also I was teaching them how to teach me, and it worked perfectly. There was all hugs, there was smiles, there was affection towards each other, there was total friendliness and openness and happiness and joy in the air. There was understanding, there were healthy boundaries. I knew the person was very upset and sad and stressed, so no bad feelings towards them. I'm okay with that. That's okay. People get like this sometimes. But that doesn't mean it's okay for them to dump all of their bad feelings on me in a huge assault of verbal abuse. That's what it was. So they knew that. I know that. I showed them that. I told them that. So I'm just saying this because I don't want you to be a walkover. I don't want you to be hurt at the hands of other people. I want you to be well, happy, and safe and protected, yet also have an open and peaceful, loving heart towards other people. Okay, I think I have to go now because I don't know when the end of the 15 minutes is up. But that doesn't matter because I think I've told all I need to tell and share. Thanks a lot for being here. Can't believe you're still here. Okay, maybe I can, but you've listened to a long video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you really benefited from it and it's opened your eyes. And I'd love to hear from you, please. Please leave a comment and subscribe if you want. This is my new channel, a new thing for me. So I just want to spread the light and the love and awareness and the goodness from this place here in the world. Okay, see ya. Have a lovely day. I do hope you have a lovely day, and tell me your lovely day stories, okay? I'd love to hear. See ya.